Over the past week, the Ikota axis of Lekki experienced the wrath of the Lagos state government with demolition of houses. Now, it was a heart-wrenching experience for me personally, especially having to watch men and women, passers-by, on their knees, begging desperately and wishing something could be done to salvage their buildings and give them a last opportunity.
All the stakeholders are working on
it. Structures built on the canal path in Itiosa local government area brought to ground zero. The Lagos State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, and his team are to continue the enforcement of building law, and more buildings are likely to go down.
Those buildings that were brought to the rubble were worth millions and billions of people's lifelong investments. Of course, those people woke up in their houses the same day, but by night they had nothing to show for the very building where they had woken up the same day. As sad as the experience, yes, a very sad one. I'll try as much as possible not to be sentimental in my analysis in this video, but present you with logical analysis of why what was done and why it had to be done. Now, for there to be orderliness, laws are put in place. But when people, for whatever reason, I am not in a position to speak for anyone, but for whatever reason, decides not to follow set down laws, the law always has a way of coming back to hurt them.
People that want these ones that were demolished, they don't have one head. You guys don't have two heads. We're all citizens, and people have contravened on the law. And it's still this brazen attitude of we can do it, we can get away with it, and nothing will happen. That is why we are where we are today as a people.
The general practice of a vice will never make it a virtue. So in as much as we have some Nigerians that go about expressing their greed and using it to affect the lives of others in a very negative way, that does not make their actions right, and no one should at any point make a case to justify their actions. Now, in Lagos State, we have the Lagos State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law. Before I go further to explain what is stipulated in this law book, make sure you send me a DM on my WhatsApp on the number on your screen or my email to request a copy, because for as long as you are going to build a house in Lagos or you are already building a house in Lagos, you definitely need this book. You don't want to rely on what your builders, your engineers, your structural engineers will be telling you, because you want to know the law for yourself and then work with them as they are building your house to make sure you do not leave any stones unturned. So make sure you send me a DM right now to get your own copy, but then watch the video to get everything that I have to share with you. Lagos State has setback requirements for different situations, and a breach of any of these setback requirements can actually be a reason for the government to bring down your building. Mark that. I'll repeat that. Lagos State government has setback requirements for different instances, and your breach of this setback requirement can be a reason to demolish your house. It doesn't matter how much or the location of that house, the government has a right to bring down that particular structure. The setback rules covers every area of construction. So we have the highway setback. So you have a building by the roads, there is a level of setback that is expected of you. You have a building by a gas pipeline, there is a level of setback that is expected of you. And of course, you have a building by the water bodies, be it the ocean, be it the lagoon, be it the canal, the rivers, provided it is water, right? there is a level of setback that is expected of you. And where you do not meet any of this setback, what is stated in the law that you will receive from me is demolition of your property. We have setback for water bodies because the major issue at hand right now that we are addressing is the breach of canal setback. That's for this particular Ikota demolition. The breach here is that of canal setback, right? In other cases, it could be highway setback breach. It could be a breach of gas pipeline setback. It could be a breach of electric pole setback rules. The issue with the Ikota demolition is that of canal setback breach. Now let's look at the general regulation for setback for water bodies. So water bodies include ocean, so like beach. You are building a house by the beach, for instance, in Lagos. The setback requirement is 150 meters from the ocean, right? Now, if it is a lagoon, it is 50 meter setback requirement. If it's a river, it's 15. The first lagoon is 50. The second river is 15. Now, we also have canal, right? Any building that is being built by a canal, there is a setback rule of 10 meters. If there is embankment, that's if there is a passage by the canal, a 10 meters setback is required. If there is no passage, then it's 15 meters. The same with river, right? Make sure you take note of this when engaging with a structural engineer for your building. Make sure on your own you do all of these things. Make sure you ask all of these questions. This is what I want, this I want. So it's not a case of saying I'm not going to buy a waterfront property, I'm not going to buy a property by a canal. No, you can still buy, but it's just to know the right thing to do. It's to know the right thing to do, because we have a lot of houses still by the same canal that were demolished. We have other developers that did their setback right. Their properties are not affected.
The water has nowhere to go, leaving the estate flooded. But the state government insists on environmental law enforcement.
This nuisance on this canal part, on the canal itself, must be removed. That's what we're just trying to do. We are removing the nuisance. And you must have noticed, as we remove them, we're creating the canal part, the channel for the water into the Ikota River. We have to also take the hard stance and let them know that we are serious about enforcement. It's sad that we have to pull down these structures. It's sad. But the truth is, we can't allow them to stand. We have to make a choice for public good. And that choice we've made. We've taken that decision that we have to enforce it to the letter.
Another major cause of demolition in Lagos State in general is the breach of the highway setback law. Right? People building houses on the roads, people building houses by the gutters, people building houses in streets that ordinarily people should be passing. And that's exactly what has happened with some of these buildings that are now being demolished. Now, the Lagos State Governor has already given this directive that any property that breaches the Lagos State's building law and guideline will have to go down. So these are just about the few set of buildings. In short, the entire Lagos, mainland and island, are saddled with a whole number of this kind of buildings. Just to share with you, I was in Fadeyi just within the week, and you notice that a lot of these landlords are acquiring properties in Fadeyi, right? They build up to 3 floors, 4 floors, story building, right? And then they build on the entire land that they have without reservation for car parks, and their tenants will now have to be parking on the road. So the roads are all congested with vehicles So you hardly have a way to pass. Even with Okada, you have to struggle to pass on those roads. These are all issues that are brought about by our own greed upon ourselves. So remember the song by Two-Face. If to say not just me, I go they do anyhow. But because it's not just you, you cannot just do anyhow. Because by the time you go about your anyhowness, you inconvenience your neighbor, you inconvenience the other person. And that's exactly what went wrong in the Ikota case, for instance. So because of those houses that were blocking the canal, the water that was supposed to flow freely through the canal now they have a channel to flow, and it was causing flooding. And of course that was a whole lot of inconvenience for the residents in that location who had their houses well built. So think about it. Who should the government side? There is something called overriding public interest. So even in a situation where your house is standing in its rightful place, right? You have not breached any law, but the government has need of your property for public interests, maybe for the for construction of road, a hospital, or anything that will benefit the general public. The government has a right to compensate you and bring down your building for the purpose of common good, not to talk of property that are breaching, right, the laws of the land, right, and causing inconvenience to people living in that neighborhood. In the actual sense, those developers should be the one compensating the government for the inconvenience caused to the environment, because they've caused serious environmental hazards due to their negligence, due to their non-adherence to the laws of the land.
The water has nowhere to go, leaving the estate flooded.
I can't compensate you for an illegality in the first place. You should even be compensating the government for letting me deploy taxpayer resources to clear that part. The erosion will always be daring to come and pull down your property. But you're not the house, only you. So that's what we're doing. We are pushing back, and we're going to push back irrespective of whose ox will be God.
The Lagos state government says it is determined to put an end to all forms of illegal act that may affect the safety of everyone.
Now, my people, let's keep sentiment apart. I know a lot of people have been asking diverse questions. Who gave the approval? Who gave the this? Who gave the that? The government will give approval, but people will still go ahead and do what they want to do. Somebody buys a corner piece because it's by the edge of the road. They decide to cut into the road when building their house, inconveniencing commuters and road users who legit have access, should have access to the use of that road, right? Causing traffic. In the case of this one, the major breach here is the breach of the canal setback rule. So the laws are there for everyone to see and follow. This is where Venturanna Realty comes into the picture. So basically, we provide you advisory, the necessary advisory. We are not just about the sale, but rather the process before and after sale to ensure you do the right thing. We don't just want to sell to you. We want to make sure you have actual possession of what we have sold to you. And that's where you need us. Take this for instance. When you are sick and you cannot explain it, you go to a doctor. Why would you put all of your hard earnings, investments, money, running into thousands and sometimes hundreds of millions of naira into a property without engaging with a professional? This is where Venturanna Realty is your trusted expert, advising you all through the way, before and after purchase, to make sure you do not make unnecessary mistakes with your real estate investment right here in Lagos. So you need us. You definitely need us. We have a whole wide range of properties right here in Lagos. So we do not have business selling properties that will give you issues. So you definitely need us. Contact us right now on 08036222782 for any enquiries. And of course, when you chat me up directly, I'm going to be sending you a free copy of the Lagos State's Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law. So this will definitely open your eyes to a lot of things that you didn't know. And instead of being sentimental and asking questions, you will know where these people have gone wrong, right? We cannot keep shutting our eyes to the right thing to do, all because we want to throw about some emotions. No, let's do the right thing. Keep your greed aside and do the right thing. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, by now you know that this is the place to be. We give you professional advice, right, on how to go about your property purchase right here in Lagos to give you a seamless experience. So make sure you hit on the subscribe button right now so that you follow us back to back on all of our posts right here, and of course enable your notification bell so that as we drop posts you get to see them. Also share this video to somebody who is in need of something like this. Like and comment, and we definitely want to hear from you. Thank you for watching.